1872 with a man named Edward Muybridge. He used stop-motion pictures to prove his theory. His theory was that all four of the horse feet were able to leave the ground altogether. In 1878, he used high-speed motion photography to capture the movement of a horse. These were fully developed photography plates. Eventually, they were able to prove his theory. In 1895 came the Lumiere brothers, Louis and Auguste. These were the first brothers to create the camera that was combined to have a projector and printer. They chose to name the invention the cinematography. Eventually, in 1902, Georges Méliès became the first to edit the shots together in sequence. This was done using different special effects and transitions such as the time-lapse and dissolves. These were specially added into the film Trip to the Moon. Linear editing was placing film by ensuring that it is all in order and in the correct sequence. 1903, Edwin S. Porter was the first to film 40 actors and to have work whilst following a storyboard and listening to a script. He created the first epic Western film, The Train Robbery. In 1908, D.W. Griffiths became the first film using the L and J cut as well as the 180-degree rule. This uses different types of angles whilst filming. He uses another technique called seamless editing, cutting film taped up and piercing them back together. He used match cut and cross-cutting in the film A Corner of Wheat. In this, he cuts from rich man, businessman over to poor people queuing in line for bread. Cross-cutting, also known as parallel editing, was featured in another one of his films, Birth a Nation. It happens when soldiers raid a house with children and women hiding in the basement. Through that scene, it cuts between two shots, building up the tension. Came 1910 was Lev Kuleshov. He was the first man to bring down a montage to film. He was able to use different objects to show emotions. In 1920, Sergei Eisenstein followed Lev montage creation and adapted it to form his own montage. This was done by adding a number of shots together to reduce the period of time shown. Sergei believed that the relationship between the shots were just as important as the shots and believed that editing was the foundation of film art. The Moviola began the first editing machine in 1924 that allowed people to view what they had filmed. This was easier to do rather than looking through long strips of film by hand. The Moviola was first invented by Ivan Sera. The Steenbeck flatbed machine was patented in 1934, March 7th. It was the first to be invented in Germany by Wilhelm Steenbeck. It works by soundtracks LED on their side, on the top of the rotating pallets. The film is projected onto a screen and is able to be played, paused, moved, forward and backwards, sped up, even slowed down. This makes it helpful to have a clear and precise examination. 1944, Alexander Ponatov became the first to join a company and create the first video recorder, which is given the name Ampex. The Ampex company released the first videotape recorder in 1956 and named the 2-inch quadruplex videotape. The French New Wave was a group that was very popular throughout the 50s and 60s. They never followed the rules when recording and editing a film. It was one of the most influential movements in film. They first originated in 1948 at the starting point of the camera style. 1963, Ampex then introduced the Editech. This was a new videotape recorder which included a microprocessor. 1995, a team of 27 animators worked together with only a small crew and a small budget to create the first CGI film. This was also known as Toy Story. Now in present day, around 2018, most films are now edited digitally on different systems such as Avid, Premiere Pro, and Final Cut Pro. All of this editing happens on a computer. The benefit of editing on a computer is not causing damage to the original footage. Within present day, non-linear editing is used to create a different order when editing films. Throughout the different times in history of the pioneers, there have been many new and added techniques and transitions. Many pioneers used ones such as match cut and montage, but few were added in by other editors. Some of the transitions that have been added through time were jump cut, which was used in editing to jump between shots that were aimed at a topic. This was able to give the audience a jump effect. Smash cut was added when shots move quickly from one scene to another and mostly happens when it is unexpected. Cutaway was added from the main action, which was used to distract viewers from the information given. Invisible cut was used when two shots were filmed but had similar frames. Match on action was normally used to match shots together from one scene to another so they look similar. Shot revert shot is a single camera technique where two characters looked back and forth at each other, but the camera moves to record each character talking. Cutting to soundtrack is used different shots that change based on the beat of music. Each of these techniques are still used when editing in times like today in films such as Marvel films, Shaun of the Dead, Fight Club, and even Rocky. So without any of these techniques and transitions, we wouldn't have all action we have today. So thanks for watching and listening to our video.